everyone. My name is John Skees, and I am the Director of Media for TAPS. Thank you for joining us today for our Fall Band and Drumline preseason meeting. We're going to get started in just a few minutes, but first I got a couple of housekeeping items to address. So first things first, this webinar is being recorded. That recording will be shared with you tomorrow. You're going to get a link sent to the email you used to register for this webinar. Second, if you have any questions, please use the questions feature in the GoToWebinar interface. You're going to see a little drop down there that says questions. You can just type them there. We're going to try to answer those as we go through the presentation, but if we don't get to yours right away, there is a general Q&A at the end of the session. Also, if email is easier for you, you can send any questions to info@taps.biz during the webinar. We're going to keep an eye on that inbox, and we will be passing those questions on to our presenters. If we don't get to your question today, or if it's just too specific to answer appropriately in this venue, please send us an email after the webinar to info@taps.biz or call us at the office. Third, we are providing a certificate for continuing education. If you'd like to document that with your school, you can find that in the handouts drop-down in the GoToWebinar interface. There's also going to be a link to that handout in the email that you get tomorrow. So if you don't get it today, don't worry about it. But if you click on that handouts drop-down, you're going to see a PDF listed. Click on that. It's going to open a window in your browser, and you can download it from there. And if you have any trouble, please let me know using the questions interface or the chat interface, and I will help you out. Joining us today from the TAPS office is Brian Bunselmeyer, the TAPS Executive Director, Vina Williams, the TAPS Director of Fine Arts, Robert Huckabee, Associate Director and Director of Compliance, Steve Prudhomme, TAPS Associate Director, and Will Dixon, who's in charge of our live broadcasts. He's helping us out on the technical side in the office today. Before I hand it over to Brian to kick things off, I've got a question for everyone in attendance. So you're going to see a poll pop up in just a second. We'd like to know what your main role is regarding TAPS on your campus. Are you school administration? Are you a fine arts administrator? Are you a band director or percussion director? Or are you other staff? Kind of helps us know who we're talking to during the live session. About 20% of you have submitted so far. I'm going to leave this open for about 30 more seconds. All right, I'm going to close this poll. Looks like submissions have slowed down. And Brian, I'm going to hand it over to you.
Thank you, John. Just wanted to say thank you to all of y'all for joining us here today. We are looking forward to our competitions this fall. Things at our schools will dictate what you can and cannot do on a local level, but hopefully you can join us when we get to October. We'll be ready for our fall band and our drumline competitions. We're looking to return to Waco, try to keep it central and try to keep our time schedules the best we can so you can get in and out on the same day. Greatly appreciate those that have put all the effort in the past few years. I think this has grown to be one of our better competitions. It's surely one I enjoy. So as we go through the things today, just let you know that, again, our leadership staff, Vina is our fine art director. Steve, Robert, and I are here in the office to assist. And then we also have John, our director of media. He'll be talking a little bit later about how to utilize our Twitter account and our Facebook, etc. Kelly Bay and Rhonda are here to help you in the office. Either one of them can help you with your rank 1 questions as you get through. Will's always here to assist in our live broadcast. And then Bruce and Nancy are sitting here working with eligibility. So we got a lot of things going on in the office today, a lot of things every day, but we appreciate your opportunities that you give us to assist you to help your life easier. Vina, go ahead and tell us about our leadership committees.
Well, first I want to thank those that currently serve on our committees. Can't do this stuff without you guys. We have 3 sub-band committees. One is focused on the overall school year season with concert band in the spring. Some of the committee members focus specifically on marching and non-marching band, and some share their expertise in the drumline area, serving on that drumline committee. It is a huge blessing to me to have those of you help with these programs. Members help develop our event by analyzing what works and what doesn't work, They review the suggestions from other directors. A lot of them get emails from other directors, and so those get shared with me so that we can help develop our programs. They also help mentor our directors. So if you are new, or if you are just new to TAPS, we can connect you with a committee member who will just kind of mentor you throughout the year on the TAPS way and other things that you might need assistance with. Perhaps you've come from a big group and you're finding music is easy, but now you're at a small school that you've got 3 trumpets and 1 woodwind and 7 percussionists. So what do you do with that? And so we have some committee members that are great with helping you find the right music for what your group is consists of. Another part of my job is to help you with your job. So committee members assist with convention sessions and development workshops at our convention in the summer, and hopefully we'll be bringing more of those to you throughout the year through our webinar series, since most of our things have been online this year. So I know that you're all busy, but it is also helpful when you guys see the need and you volunteer. And so it's really exciting to me when I show up at a regional event and our staff is sometimes limited because we have other events throughout the state, and it's really great when you step up and see a need and volunteer. And so if you're interested in serving on a committee, just send an interest email to info@taps.biz and let me know that you're interested in serving as a mentor or assisting at some of the events. Usually the assistance is tabulations or passing out awards and things like that. It's not a huge commitment, but I do appreciate those that already serve on the committee, and we are looking to build those committees up still.
Well, Vina, the leadership and the support we get from our member schools are precious to us, and we do appreciate it. And now moving on to governance, I'm going to give this over to our Director of Compliance, Mr. Robert Huckabee.
All right, thank you, Steve. If you ever need to know where you can find information regarding our governance, that's contained in our Constitution and bylaws. And down there below in that blue section, you'll see that's a reference to our homepage, taps.biz. Up at the top menu, there's a resources button. If you hover over that, you'll get a big drop down. The second item under that's called bylaws. If you click on the bylaws, it will take you to a big Google Doc that contains our Constitution and bylaws. Give that a couple of seconds to load. It's quite a big document, but that's where you can find the Constitution and the bylaws. A little secret, if you're familiar with these type of Google Docs, if you're just searching, you don't know where to start, you forgot a section number, or you know a section number, you don't know exactly how to find it, you can hit that Control F when you're in that Google Doc, and that will take you, type in your keywords, and you can do a search there, and you can find specific things in there. Our Constitution is the first thing that pops up, and that's our core document. It's been in existence for many years. And then most of the details of our sports and activities, especially in fine arts, are contained in more detail in the bylaws, or general bylaws, or section 1 through 129. That's general information about our membership, our governance, and our eligibility rules. Then our athletic bylaws are in 130 through 197. More specific to you, our fine arts bylaws are found in 198 through 261. The general bylaws regarding fine arts are there in 198 to 202, and then the program specific ones follow after that. Looking at the next page in fine arts specific to this group, we can jump down to 236. That's where we get our music overview, and then drumline specifically is in 237, and then down at the bottom, fall band is in 241. So if you have any questions about that, finding information, reach out to Vina, reach out to us here in the office. We can always help you with that. John, I think we have a poll question coming up next.
Yes, sir. We would like to know, folks, let me get this poll launched. How many years have you directed band? This is for band directors. How many years have you directed band at your school? All right, I'm going to close this poll. Thank you, folks, and send it back to the office.
Okay, we're going to move on to student eligibility. And some of the student eligibility are part of our Constitution, namely Article 5, and moves on to be defined that students cannot be 19 prior to September 1st, must be a full-time student, not initially enrolled in 9th grade more than 4 years ago, and be a high school student in good standing. Now, the junior high exception is for fall band. and they may participate in fall band as a junior high student, and this will not affect their high school eligibility. And so that's important to know. But there's some updates this year, and I'm going to hand it over to Robert.
All right, thank you, Steve. As we finished the spring and then moved into the summer and looked at what was going on out in the world for our schools out there and changes that might be coming, we knew that one of our basic governing rules that might come into play was what we call Section 82, a full-time day student. And we've typically defined that as you have to take 4 courses, and we describe those courses, but in the past, those courses have been required to be courses taken on your campus, sitting in a desk, and that was a core part of our eligibility. We knew going into this new year that our schools were making changes to deal with the things that are going on out there. So we modified some things over the course of the summer, published this to our schools about a month ago, and here's just a little summary of some of those things regarding full-time day students being redefined. Approved educational models at your particular school. You can be the traditional brick and mortar alternative curriculum. Students taking things virtually or from home or online, those are now available as well, as in addition to a combination of brick and mortar and alternative types of models. Those are allowed for this year and this year only, as we see how we navigate this year for the 2020-21 year. Those course requirements are listed there, those 4 courses that are required, which courses are eligible, which are not. And then, of course, these have to be courses that are reflected on your transcript, your GPA, and they have to count as credit toward your graduation. But there was some flexibility allowed as our board looked at this and moved into the new year for our schools with regard to how you deliver your education. Brian?
So Robert, just to clarify a little bit more and make sure I've got my facts straight, a student can move between the virtual and the brick and mortar, but that's all based on what the school's policy is. Is that correct? In other words, the school determines when and how and if they may or may not switch.
That is correct. We've left that. How you manage your educational delivery is a local control issue with your school. So if you allow it, then TAPS is saying we allow it.
Another situation that's come up and the question that's been asked is, if a student is virtual, can they come on campus to practice and participate in extracurricular activities? That would include obviously fall band and drumline. We're talking here athletics. So that is local control as well, is it not?
Once again, yes, that is local control. It's up to your local school administration to determine what educational options you're going to make available. And then once you do that, how and if you allow those students to participate.
So to kind of sum up with local control, what our option is local control means the administration of your school is determined in their return to school protocols. This is in the best interest of our students, staff, and school. The thing that we ask as TAPS is that when you enforce that, you enforce it fairly, equitably, and the same each time. So we're not giving exceptions. So local control, we believe, especially across this big old state, it's 270,000 square miles from, as we say, Beaumont to El Paso and Brownsville to Amarillo. There's a lot of different rulings going on right now by the Health and Human Services of what you can and can't do. We're going to jump real quick to health and safety. And one of the things that's come up this year is that there is a band safety course that has been published by the National Federation of State High School Associations, NFHS. NFHS Learn has band safety. As a former administrator, I definitely would indicate that most of the things in there you probably already know, but it never hurts to have that refresher course. And it's always good to get a certificate to say you've been through training. So from the administrator in me, NFHS Learn band safety, it is free. It just go, and we'll show you in here in just a second how to get there. The National Federation also commissioned an aerosol study. I've read through this several times. It was for the performing arts. It kind of gives you a little bit of background about what you may or may not want to do as a band or a choir, depending on the aerosol spray during COVID-19. I think at the end of the day, social distancing where you can, mask when you can, are still going to be the key prospects here. We'll jump down the screen for me. So the band safety course, as are all safety courses, and the Learn through NFHS Learn is nfhslearn.com/courses. And then on there, if you pick performing arts, band safety will pop up. And that aerosol study, if you're one of those that wants to read, or maybe you're just having a little trouble getting to sleep at night, you need another 27 pages in your diary there. The NFHS aerosol study has some good information. It also gives you some good information when parents ask, is it safe, is it not, and what are the distancing and why are we choosing to do that? So I do believe at the end of the day, National Federation Learn is going to be your friend. And again, course is not required, but definitely take a look at it. Dina?
Thanks, Brian. part of our communication with you this year, just want to talk about how you get information and how we send it to you and how you get it from us and how you can send it back to us. Our taps.biz is our main website. We have the main page, we have individual, we have fine arts page, and then we have the individual activity page. Will, if you could go ahead and go to taps.biz, can give them a quick overview, a walkthrough. On taps.biz, this is our homepage. The main places that you're going to want to go is that top, that black bar up there where it says fine arts. If you click there, this will take you to our fine arts pages. And on this fine arts page, you'll see that there's the fine arts entry fees so that you can pre-plan your budget for the year. The director's corner will have some, the news blast that we send out. You can get the latest blast posted there. But specifically, we've got our music section there in the middle. Well, if you go ahead and click on right now, if you'll click on band, this is our main band page, and marching band, drumline, fall band, non-marching band, it all falls under our huge band championship for the year. And so from this main band page, you can get to the solo and ensemble information, the concert information, drumline, and fall band. And so on this page, you'll see the important dates, championship information, and then on the right, you'll see the blog post of all the emails that get sent out. Resources are also here up on that red menu. You'll see the resource links, frequently asked questions, and things like that. Specifically, things for Drumline or fall band, if you want to click on Drumline there, Will. On the Drumline page, you'll see that we have the information for the Drumline event, and it's the same on the fall band page, where this is where we'll post the things that you'll need for the event, the schedule, the map, information about our clinicians and our sponsors and things like that. So the website is where you're going to get most of the information that we share with you throughout the year. When you're trying to send an email to us, we'll have a quick overview with Rank 1 here in a bit, but for us sending you information, we use our Rank 1 database, and so it will be important for you to have your information updated there. We will also post it on the Director's Corner or on that right side of the activity page sidebar. But if you have to send us an email, you could send it to info@taps.biz, and we can get it to the correct people in our office for who that particular question needs to go. By sending it to info@taps.biz, it allows multiple people to be able to collaborate on the response. So if you have a question that has to do with eligibility as well as the event all in one email, it can be assigned to me as well as Robert, and we can collaborate on that answer instead of you sending it to my direct email and then I have to forward it to somebody else and then it may get lost. So the best chain of sending in an email is to send it to that info@taps.biz or use our contact us link on our website. Rank 1, like I said, is our database, and Steve's going to talk a little bit more about that.
Yes, and in the Rank 1 project, most of the efforts we had in the second part of the year were towards getting fine arts where they needed to be in the system, but the one thing we cannot do without is not having the directors all in Rank 1 and all the information in there being accurate. So please make sure you put all that through there. We'll pull those emails from Rank 1 email addresses to send things out, or whether we do a push notification. Also know that Kelly and Rhonda and the people in the office are here to assist you. If you have a problem with Rank 1 or you want a quick question, sometimes they can get you moving in the right direction. Rank 1 also has a help desk for the TAPS, but also for the other services you might want to take advantage of with regard to Rank 1. The coaches and directors all need to be put in to all the jobs that they do. So if you're working with any event, multiple events, please make sure that you have yourself in Rank 1 properly, and you also have the people that work for you there. There's a compliance piece that's there. Once they get their account, they can open that up and kind of go through, and it'll create the profile, and they'll let you know what you need to do and not do. Make sure your acknowledgement of rules and scope is done properly, and you turn green. So that's the cool thing about Rank 1. You go from red to green, and that means go, and we're all ready to go. And Robert's going to talk a little bit about the students in Rank 1.
All right, thank you, Steve. Students have to be in Rank 1 as well. If they were at your school last year, and then promoted to this year, they should have rolled over and been promoted and already be in the system. But even if they're in the system, the parents have to go in each year and update that student profile, make sure all the information is current and accurate. If they are new to your school, either matriculating into the 9th grade for the first time, or they're a transfer to your school during high school, then they'll need to be added into that Rank 1 database, and the parents and the students will have to go in and complete that profile as well. That's where they complete their student acknowledgement of rules and complete all their medical information, their history, and their physical, and any school-based forms that your school might require, they'll complete in there as well. There obviously is a transfer process. There's a process for international students or students not living with parents, and all those forms populate and become available as they answer those questions and complete those profiles in Rank 1. Once again, if you need any assistance with that, with any of your students, reach out to our office. Kelly and Rhonda here in our office will be able and glad and to assist you with that and able to help you. If not, Rank 1 is available as well. Rosters are also an important part of the eligibility process in Rank 1. You need to create your varsity team or any other teams you might have in that particular activity. Then you go in and build that roster. You build the roster by pulling those students in your database over onto that roster. And as you pull them over, you'll notice that they'll either be red or green. If they're red, that means they're missing some forms or information in order for them to be eligible to compete in TAPS activities, and it will show you what forms those are. You can reach out to those students and parents and get those completed, because they will need to be green and good to go before they're able to participate in TAPS activities.
Thanks, guys. Part of your job as a director is to make sure that your department is maximized, with your students being maximized. So we want to equip you with as much information as you can handle, and that will get you through your TAPS season as well as just your year. So throughout the year, we'll be updating our website with valuable information that you might need. Part of that toolkit is a checklist specific to TAPS. The director checklist will kind of walk through each of the steps that you'll need throughout the year: signing up, getting your eligibility done, submitting your entries, finding the rules, so getting hotels done and things like that. So there will be just that list of all the to-do items. Also on our website, we have documents such as the rubrics that will be used by the judges, the evaluation sheets, things like that. Professional organizations, I know a lot of you, I see you at TMEA, a lot of you do ATSSB in the summer, but those are organizations that you can be a part of as a professional, as well as your students have other audition solo opportunities to be in, like the All-State bands there. So be sure to check out those professional organizations. They take the convention to another step further by having band-specific workshops that can go beyond just the 4 or 5 that we can provide you, but they have weekends worth of convention material. Hotels is one thing that sometimes the band director has to do, and so we do have a hotel partner that we'll talk about here in a little bit that can help you get your hotels needed for your travel throughout this year. And then also the NFHS Learn, Brian mentioned, there's not just that band safety, but there's also other courses that you could take as a band director. There's Intro to Interscholastic Music, Music Adjudication. There's a lot on health and safety and illness prevention. So there's so many courses that you could take through that NFHS Learn that many of them you can get your continuing ed credits for those of you that still have to submit that to be a certified Texas teacher. Let's see. Steve, I think we have something from Red Pen.
Yeah, we have a sponsor coming up. It's Kelly Detta with Red Pen Incentives, and specifically Red Pen Travel, and she can help you with some of your needs for hotels. And she's been working with us for a year, learning a lot of stuff. Also putting together a system that will make it easy, help you to save money, and also protect you in case you have to cancel at the last second during this COVID. And so I think she has a good product, and go ahead and roll it, Will. Kelly Detta and Red Pen Travel.
TAPS family. I'm Kelly Ditto with Red Pen Incentives and Red Pen Travel. We are absolutely thrilled to be the appointed convention manager, sponsorship manager for some new partners, as well as the hotel management partner. Unfortunately, we missed seeing you all at the convention this year. We tried really hard to pull it off, but it just wasn't in the cards. But please mark your calendar for next June 7th through 9. It's going to be a fantastic convention, and we will make up for missing this one. I want to talk to you briefly today about hotel blocks. So I know this is a bit of a burden for many of you guys, trying to figure out how to move your team, get the best, most efficient hotel rates, as well as logistics of just coordinating it as we move the TAPS events all over the state. I am thrilled to announce that I have a fantastic new back-end technology partner that's going to be helping Red Pen Travel be even more efficient with our hotel bookings. We will also be using our collective purchasing power to get better rates for you all. So please mark your calendar for August 5th. We will be having a webinar to quickly walk you through the simple platform and how you can either use our group blocks to get the best rates that we've collectively negotiated, or I have a dedicated team standing by to help you with your individual group blocks, figuring out the best rate and making sure that logistically it's an easy process to do. So as we move into this fall, goodness, who knows what it's going to look like. But with TAPS and all of our partners, we're here to try to maneuver it together with you to make it as smooth as possible. Looking forward to working with you all. Have a great day.
And we thank Kelly and her continued partnership with TAPS. And again, I think this is a resource that can help you save time and money. But now we're going to talk a little bit about the important dates that we have, and I'll hand this over to Brian.
Well, let's stay a little bit of both. Let's talk about Red Pen end dates. Back on August 5th, Kelly was able to join us for a webinar on exactly what Red Pen Travel meant. So that is shared through our TAPS YouTube account, TAPS Biz, and we'll be sending that out again as well in case that assists you in your plans. The important dates as we move forward, September participation form, that's September 1st. If you think you're going to participate right now in fall band, there is no additional fee at this point. So please go, there are fees later, but not at the September deadline. Go ahead and indicate you're going to play. September transfer deadline is August 15th, but at the present time, that's not going to apply to your fine arts students. So they would be able, anybody that comes in after that is okay. But your international students, Coach Gunlock's working a ton of transfers and a lot of international students. So if you have international students who have not been approved by TAPS, please make sure you, once they start filling out their individual student profiles, that information will pop up the minute they say they're not a citizen of the United States. So do us a favor, get those in early so that we don't have any problems as we get closer to the contest deadline. So as we keep moving back and looking here, the important dates for us all start in October. We moved the contest back to October the 26th. So that Monday, October 26th is our go day. Our entry deadline is October the 19th. So we're really looking forward to giving you as much time as possible, October 19th, and then rolling back on the 26th for the championship. We'll be back at Waco ISD, and they have given us some options there. I think we'll have the opportunity, should weather become a problem, to slide a little bit. We'll have some leeway there. So looking forward to those. And then our convention is going to come back in July of next year, first or second week of July. We look forward to getting everybody back together. I can say with all honesty, in the last 6 months, the things that we've missed as a staff from top to bottom is the interaction with our folks. We do miss the events. We miss getting to see you and visit and catch up and see what's going on with you and your programs. So again, we can't wait to get back. We're going to wait as long as we can to get this done, and we're going to take a keen eye on the weather just in the event we have to push back. So October 19 is going to be your actual entry deadline. October 26 will be the date of the competition, weather and all things working through, and then July for the convention. Again, September 1, make sure whoever's filling out your TAPS participation form, whether it be your athletic director, whether it be you, or whether it be your head administrator, if you plan on participation, please put it down. We do look forward to having as many folks this year as we can rejoining us in Waco for our competition. John, another poll, I think.
Thank you, John. Remember, if you have any questions, you can do it through the webinar on the webinar box up there. Click on, or you can send your questions to the office at info@taps.biz, and we'll be happy to get to you and try to get you an answer as soon as we can. Now we get to move on to the fun stuff, the championship event. Sylvina, tell us a little bit about what's going to happen on Championship Day.
Well, Championship Day is a fun thing. I'm going to focus on marching band and field band right now, and then we'll switch over to drumline in a minute. For our field band and marching bands, basically I want to talk a little bit about the difference between the two. Both of them are your typical halftime show, what you've done at your football games, or some of you just do other competitions, but mainly we want to know what you're doing at your school with your students. Field band is kind of an experimental band. We have lots of schools that have pep bands that don't have the traditional marching band. They do halftime shows for their games, but they are not your traditional marching band. So that is what our field band is. Your field band could be a developing band that is, your goal is to become a marching band, and you're just not quite ready to play and walk and stand all at the same time. And right now you're just trying to get your freshmen to be able to stand up and play their instrument and be still. And so we have some bands that are just developing, and they're working on getting to where they can all step in sequence. And if that's what you want to do for field band, that's fine. We do have some marching criteria on the field band sheet that allows a judge to comment on your potential and the skills that you try to incorporate without it actually affecting your score. It does allow you to be experimental and see if your kids can take 5 steps without falling all over the field. But then we also have just pep bands that have no intention of marching. It's just show tunes. We even have a rock band or two that like to play just what they play at their halftime shows. If you want to get a good feel for what our event is like, we do have our Taps Rewind on our YouTube channel of our fall band, our field band, and marching band and drumline, where it's a condensed video of the day with all the dead time taken out. And so you can view that Taps Rewind on our YouTube channel. Basically, the marching band and field band portion of the day starts out with your band warming up. And then you proceed to the football field to perform. After your performance, you exit the field, and we have a clinician there to give you a clinic, and then it's followed by the awards after each of the divisions. Now, the performance, we do have 3 judges that are scoring you based on our rubric and giving you 2 things. One is a rating for your performance, like a superior or excellent, and then the other is the rank based on the amount of points you accumulated for that. And so you are given a numerical score, which determines your rank per your division, but you're also given, like we do in concert band, a superior, like a first division rating for your performance, regardless of how you ranked according to the other bands that have played. In addition to the performance ranking and rating, we do that clinic where you're taken off the field, and we hire clinicians that come in and talk with you about what you just did. You know, the kids are excited. They have just spent months preparing for this, and now this really cool clinician is able to tell them their first impression of how they were just wowed by your performance. And so we have awards that are given, and then we have a valuable clinic. And we do have a message from Bob Better, who has helped us with our judging, as well as clinicked some of your bands at our event. So if we can play that.
I'm Bob Vetter. I hire all the adjudicators and clinicians for all of the music activities for TAPS. It's been over 40 years now that I've been in music education, and I had the honor of serving the Association of Texas Small School Bands as a region and an area coordinator, and then also as the president of the statewide association. The format that the TAPS uses is very student and director friendly. And not only do you get to perform for your peers and be adjudicated, you also get to have a clinic with a very experienced marching band director or a percussion instructor. When I was actively teaching, that's all I wanted another set of eyes and ears watching and listening to my group and then giving us, constructive criticism and good, helpful things. At TAPS, we have very knowledgeable clinicians that care about students and the teachers, and they want to see them succeed. And so the students and directors are not just reading a comment sheet or maybe listening to a tape, but they're getting immediate feedback from an expert who watched the performance. And the students get to hear about the things that they excelled at, as well as the things that need improvement. And the opportunity for growth is just tremendous. And I've got the privilege of serving as a clinician, and it's just so much fun to be right there with the students. And, most of them are really tired after a performance, but they're also very excited. And it's so much fun to see the excitement in their eyes and the joy of, that if they know they've done a really good performance, it's just so much value is just added to it. Look at band directing as a calling or a vocation. It's not just a job. You've got to take care of yourself. You've got to take care of your family. But then if you're going to do this, you've got to love young people. You've got to love your students, and you've got to love music. And I just think it's the coolest vocation in the world to get to work with God's gift of music and then God's gift of young people, and then put the two together. And it's just so much fun. Seek help from friends and colleagues. Do not be afraid to ask for help. There are so many experienced directors wherever you are, but just take the step to seek help. Send an email or call somebody, text somebody, just reach out. And I just love it. I think the music components that TAPS is doing are they're so student centered and also for the teachers. And it's not so much about winning as about growing and, trying to do the very best you can and then find out what we need to do to continue. And I just have loved it and still having a blast doing it.
So on to our Drumline event. It simultaneously is happening at the same location. Last year we had the bands on the football field and we had the drumlines on the baseball field. So kind of the same format where you warm up your group, you go perform for the judges who are going to rank you and rate you, and then you have the clinic followed by the awards. With Drumline, and it's based on your squad size, not necessarily what size your school is, but we have, small groups, medium groups, and large groups. Drumline is specifically, we want to hone in on the percussion instruments, and so we just allow for your percussion ensembles. We want to reserve our field band area for those of you that have other instruments, band instruments, winds, strings. If you have all those extra instruments, we will categorize you with the field band. So the Drumline is specific to percussion instruments, and you could have a front ensemble or you don't have to. We have some drum lines that strictly come in as a snare line and that's it. And that's okay. So at our Drumline event, it's like I said, it's basically the same format, but with our clinicians, we do hire specific drum percussion experts in that field. We do give a few extra awards with our Drumline event, and those highlight the outstanding sections for like the snare, the outstanding tenor line, the bass line, the cymbal line, and front ensemble. So those section awards are also given, and the kids get super excited about that. We've had some great sponsors the last couple of years who have given us door prizes and things to give to your students and pass along to your schools just as a thank you for supporting our percussion businesses out there. So one thing that was new this year, that was actually last year, was giving those performance-based rating awards. So your school could get a superior award for your performance regardless of how you ranked overall. I didn't mention this about the band just now, but because band championship is kind of inclusive of what we do for the whole year, points for your drumline performance or your field band performance or your marching band performance, if you were to receive one of those superior ratings, just like in concert band, you get points that will accumulate towards our overall band championship for the year. We do have a message today from Joe Hobbs. He's served as one of our clinicians in the past, and he just wanted to give you a little take on what he thinks about our TAPS Drumline event.
So I'm Joe Hobbs. I'm the percussion director at Vandergrift High School. This upcoming year will be my 5th year there. I taught in Dallas for a little bit before that for 4 years. I'm originally from Kentucky and do a lot of stuff with drum and bugle corps in the summer, and full-time percussion teacher year-round. There's going to be a lot of pride taken in to make sure that this contest was really a positive experience for the kids and for the teachers. That was just very apparent the minute I pulled up, got out of the car. The structure is you come out and you perform for 3 separate judges, and then immediately following that, you have a clinician that kind of takes your group aside and coaches you while the next group is actually playing, which is usually like 10 to 15 minutes or so. So what's cool is you get hands-on interaction with your students and with your kids about what just happened. And the person who's giving you the clinic didn't judge you. They just kind of watched and checked it out. So there's no numbers on how you interact. It's just meant to give you as much information as possible so that when you finish your season, you're ending on a high note with a lot of new information from a different perspective. I think drumline is just like any sport in terms of, I think what we're trying to teach students with drumline or with marching band is that if you can be excellent at this, you can be excellent in anything else. We're teaching excellence. We're teaching persistence, work ethic. Our vehicle just happens to be marching band or drumline. So it's our hope that when kids go on and don't major in music, which most don't, which is fine, that the skills they've learned being in marching band or drumline are applied to anything they're trying to do to be good at. Like I said, I really had a blast judging last year. Just a lot of unique performances. And I think what's kind of cool about TAPS is everyone treated it differently. There were so many different interpretations of that contest, which was just a blast for me. And I just think keep doing what you're doing. It's a great contest. The students seem to have a great time, and awesome job.
I think Joe mentioned, just really taking this event and using it for what is best for your school. A lot of our teachers focus on the sound fundamentals of marching and percussion, but ultimately just teaching our kids to entertain and to just be out there in front of people performing and doing what they are blessed talent-wise, and just with the musical gifts that they have, to share that with our audience. See, we're gonna go through our protocols for this year, what we have to look forward to with the new COVID restrictions and protocols coming up.
All right, thank you, Vina. As everybody knows, we obviously, as you guys are either already have started school or you're preparing to start school in the coming days and weeks, you know that it doesn't look the same as it always did. There's a lot of restrictions and limitations. There's a lot of protocols in place. We know, we've talked to many of our member schools throughout the summer in the last few weeks. We know that a lot of people spend a lot of time, money, and effort putting protocols in place that you believe will work for you with your student body, whether it be virtual or in person or some combination of that. We've been doing the same here at the TAPS office as we've looked to return to all of our activities in the athletic and the fine art world. And so what we did on Friday a week ago, August the 7th, we released some information regarding guidelines and protocols for TAPS activities as we look to move back into the fall. And these are found on our website, the TAPS website, our homepage. If the very first page you see is a link right there in the middle of the page that says Return to Play Fall 2020. If you click on that link, it will take you to a page that has all of the webinars that we've done recently, has these 2020 Return to Action protocols. There's a blue button there right in the middle of the page. If you click on that, that will take you to an 18-page document. And we're not going to presume to go into any great detail on that today in this particular webinar, but I would refer you to that. Those are guidelines that we've established, minimum standards that TAPS has established for the expectations that you should have when you're hosting an event regarding TAPS activities, or if you're attending an event. When we move on to the next one, Vina's going to talk about some expectations for our championship event this year. But please go to that document. There are guidelines there regarding PPE, face mask, and spectators, and all kinds of information, how schools should communicate with each other if they're involved in some school-to-school competition, so that everybody knows what to expect and what the standards are in that respect. Brian?
Another card to the deck, so to speak, is what our host will require. We are looking going back to Central Texas, and Waco ISD has been a great outreach in the past, and they are again this year. However, they are in McLennan County, and McLennan County does have some pretty strict regulations of what can and cannot happen right now, as does Waco ISD. So once we determine our protocols, we'll also be very concerned and make sure that we follow their protocols as well. We want to be good guests while we're in their facility. So some of those protocols are known right now. They may change before we get there, but with McLennan County kind of governing what happens and what doesn't happen, we want to make sure we do our due diligence. Vina, go ahead and tell us about the championship event.
So we really hope to run the event like we have in the past, just with some of these protocols in place. Something that might be a possibility is that we have to limit our fan attendance. Maybe you can't bring a big fan bus with you, or perhaps we have limited seating. It is possible that this year we might require a ticket for our fans, not necessarily a paid ticket, but a ticket even at a zero cost to be purchased, so that we know exactly who's coming and how many people we can let into the gate. So it is possible that around the time of the event that we share with you a way to invite your fans so that we can keep it within the confines of the regulations. It's possible that our schedule might look a little bit different. We might have to add some space within the schedule to allow for passing of groups to not have less interaction. It's possible that we have you spaced all over the facility. So Waco ISD has this great facility with tons of parking spaces. It's fortunate for, especially this year, that the facility we're using is not on a school campus where we're having to worry about infringing on a camp, the high school campus or something like that. But they do have a standalone facility that gives us the space we might need for areas of parking or warming up. It is also possible that if you're staying for the day, that we have you sitting in different parts of the stands and that we ask you to stay within those areas. So all these kinds of things we will discuss in detail. We plan to have another webinar, Countdown to State, just a week or so, maybe 10 days before the event, so that you know exactly what to expect in time. And so those specific things will be shared with you. Some of the protocols might require wearing a mask when you're not performing, or wearing a mask if we were to have a concession stand and things available, what you can and can't bring into the stadium. So all those more specific things will be discussed within the 10-day mark of our event when we do our Countdown to State webinar. But for now, just know that we are moving towards having this event. We want your kids performing. We want your kids showing off what they have worked on and what they are working towards. Now, if I don't want to say the worst, but if necessary, and we have to move to alternate ways to perform, we are looking into live stream possibilities. It may possibly even recorded submissions if we have to. But right now, our goal is to perform in person, just with a lot of protocols in place to make it a safe and but still exciting event for our schools. We do have a sponsor ad from Innovative Percussion.
Okay, reminder, you can also send questions to the office, info@taps.biz, or call the office 254-947-9268, and we'll be happy to answer your questions. And again, we don't see any questions, so we must have covered every single thing there is. So we appreciate you guys being here, and we appreciate everything you do, being a member of TAPS. And again, we're moving forward, and hopefully you have a good year. And John, take us out of here.
Thank you, Steve. Thank you, Brian. Thank you, Vina. Thank you, everybody in the office. Folks, again, if you think of a question later, please send us an email, info@taps.biz, or call us at the office. This recording is going to be shared with you tomorrow. You're going to get an email to whatever address you used to register for this event. It's also going to be on our YouTube page, so you can share this with anyone on your campus that needs to be able to see it. We've got a handout for you that is continuing education certificate. If you need to document that, if you click on the handouts drop down, click on the PDF that you see listed there, it's going to open a new window in your browser, and you can download it to your computer from there. That's also going to be in your follow-up email tomorrow, so if you don't get it today, don't panic. If you need anything else, again, please let us know, and thank you for being with us today.